they're scoring a lot of points on some good people. They scored 40+ against Tulsa at their place, took them right to the wire. Did the same thing with East Carolina, and their quarterback Austin Brown's doing a good job managing their offense. They're third in our league, and passing offense they're fourth in the conference, and they just do a good job spreading the ball around. I felt when we played those guys last year, I may have mentioned it to you at that point, that they had as good a skill as anybody in the league. DeMarcus Russell. Jamarcus Nelson, that wide receiver number 1, is probably the fastest player in our league. And they got 3 receivers that can go get the ball. They got a tailback named Reeves that's averaging right at 5 yards a carry. So they're going to present a lot of problems, for us offensively. We've got to make sure we do a good job defensively. Marvin Burdett is our leader on defense, and he flies around. He's second in the country in total tackles. And, of course, he's leading our league. So, we've got to have a great week preparation. Thank goodness the sun's shining, and we're going to be able to go outside and go to work. So we'll start that today.
They like to take shots downfield.
They do. First play against Tulsa, the one Nelson I was just talking about, they threw a post for a touchdown, and they're going to take shots now. They're going to take a lot of shots, and they are going to throw it vertical down the field. The quarterback's done a nice job throwing it. They got some receivers that can go get it.
How much more dangerous are they with those shots downfield now that Reeves is sort of getting his legs and performing last week?
The last 3, in that Southern Miss game last week, he took that game over in the second half and rushed for over 200 yards and took the ball. They won the game because of the running game a week ago. So, being able to run the football, with him and what they're doing running the football creates more issues with play action in the passing game. So they're doing a much better job of running the ball, and of course they've been able to throw it all year. But adding that dimension of running the ball is going to make them more dangerous, especially with the play action game.
What is it about him that's made him become more effective as a runner and over the last few games?
Well, I think a lot of that offensive line is starting to mature a little bit. They had a freshman in there playing. They've had some kids that banged up, but they did a nice job blocking, and they blocked Southern Miss well in the second half. Didn't block them as well in the first half, but second half found a way to get the run game going, and that won the game for them.
Austin Brown, pretty dynamic quarterback too for a freshman.
He is redshirt freshman. You just see him like all quarterbacks. He's getting first year in their system, and he's gotten better as the year goes on. And didn't throw it as well Saturday, but they were able to, like I say, run the ball and do some good things there in the second half to win the game. But he found a way to win that game, and you got to give him credit. He's a tough kid. I mean, you see him sitting there and take some shots, but he gets right back up and goes right at it. And he's a good player that is managing that offense very well.
Is there any parallels between his first on-field year and Cato's first on-field year?
Well, he's a redshirt freshman, so he's had, he's been, of course, probably are some parallels because with a new coaching staff, this is the first year he's had that offense. So to answer your question, it probably is, and you see the improvement he's made from game 1 to now, just like you saw Cato.
Doc, in your coaching career, have you crossed paths with their head coach?
Have not. He's well respected. I mean, wherever all the people you talk to, he's very well respected in our profession. He's been very successful wherever he's been.
It's Jeff Brome's first job as OC.
Say it again.
Is that Jeff Brome's first job as OC, the former Louisville quarterback?
No, I don't think it is. No, I don't think that. I know. McGee, I'm sure, has a lot to do with it. They're running, so I'm sure Derek has a lot to do with that offense.
According to their stories, they've had trouble against a good passing offense. Their defense has had troubles with it all season.
They've given up some plays. I mean, they've given up some points and given up some plays, and they're very they've fortunately East Carolina and Tulsa were able to outscore them because they were games where both teams scored a lot of points, but the defense has given up some play. Last week, they were able to for the most part shut Southern Miss down in that second half, but they have given up some points, and hopefully we can score a few ourselves.
This game kind of has a little bit of an air of a potential shootout about it.
I hope not, but you probably it does. I mean, like I say, both offenses, ours and theirs, have seemed to be able to score some points, and so but it's going to be important that we go in and play defense. I mean, we got to be able to get them stopped and get them off the field, and offensively we have to be able to score some points.
How important, Doc, is it that you played Rice in a near-empty stadium, and you're going to kind of go into that same type of atmosphere probably this Saturday?
We'll start talking to our kids about that today, and that's perfect. That's a great example. I mean, a lot of these players were there 2 years ago. We walked in there 2 years ago and found a way to win that game, and the circumstances were very similar. They'd just gone and beaten Southern Miss, as a matter of fact, and we were able to come in there, go in there and win that game, and in the same type of situation. So a lot of our kids have been there, but the kids that haven't, all you got to do is remind them of the trip to Rice, and it will be very similar. So we're going to have to prepare the same way.
What has it been about this team this year? I mean, normally Conference USA, it's a bear for teams to get wins on the road, and yet you all come up with a couple of big wins and put up a lot of points in doing so.
Yeah, fortunately, we have gone on the road and played pretty well. So we have to. It has to be that we have to play the same way this week, because it'll be a, like I say, it'll be a great challenge going into that arena and playing. And we have to, like I say, our kids having the opportunity to go to Southern Miss and play like we did, and go to Rice and find a way to win that game. We have to do the same thing this week.
How do you get guys ready for a team like Memphis that has a nothing to lose mentality with the atmosphere of a Rice game in which there's no fans and it's essentially a practice type situation as far as atmosphere?
Talk about UAB, you mean? Yeah, I mean, we have to worry about ourselves. I mean, we got a lot to play for. I mean, we got, this team, there's a lot out there left on the table for them. And, we talked about, I mentioned last week, we had 4 shots. Well, now we're down to 3 shots. And a lot of good things can happen for this football team, but you got to take them one at a time. And shot number 1, we took care of Memphis. We did what we had to do. Now it's important that all the focus, goes on UAB, and all our preparation, all our efforts have got to go in to find a way to go win that game. And our preparation will be the key to that. If we got to be able to walk off that field today, feeling really good about having a great Tuesday, and then do the same thing throughout the week, and then Saturday will take care of itself. But that game will be won during this, And I thought last week, and I told our team after the game there, we had some little adversity just with the practice last week. I mean, Tuesday, you guys, it was awful. Wednesday was awful, but we had to find a way to go out there and get better as a team. I thought we did. This week we had, the weather's not an issue. We got to go out there today and practice like we always do on Tuesdays, and walk off there a better team, more prepared to go to UAB. That has to happen.
The injury bug really hit the offensive line in the past week. I know you talked about it a little bit after the game, but I tried to do it. I think it's like that was your 5th different starting offensive line lineup, and then you had like a tackle at guard, and you kind of flip-flop that way. How good does it feel to know that even if you had to juggle those lineups, that your guys are as effective in those multiple positions to keep the offense going the way it's been going on?
Fortunately, those guys have gone in and done some pretty good things. The past 2 years we wouldn't have had the ability to do that. We had 5 guys, and that was about the extent of it. I mean, at least now we've got 6 or 7, possibly 8 guys that can go in and at least function. It's the same old, there's a lot of football teams out there right now having the same issues that we are. We got some guys banged up, but you know what? It's week 10 or week 9, and you got to go in there, and some guys have to step up. And one of the things I was really pleased with is, Dobson gets hurt the first play of the game, and you got a freshman and a sophomore that haven't played a whole heck of a lot go in there and get 11 catches for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, they had to step up and get the production that we've been getting out of Dobson, and that happened. And there's going to be some other cases this week, and it's just you have to be prepared when your number's called. We talk about that constantly, and I'm sure there's some guys who are going to have to go in there and play this week that hadn't played as much as they normally do because of some injuries and that type of thing. But where I think it really shows up is on special teams. I mean, when you start getting some guys banged up, and you don't have that's where it gets you. You got guys that have not played special teams, and you got 3 corners on your team right now that normally are on special teams that aren't on there because they're not practicing, they're going out and playing, that type of thing. That's where it shows up. But we got to get our best players in that area too. So, hey, everybody's got those problems. Whoever's out there's got to go play, and they got to play well.
How good of a teaching moment is that, though, Doc, as coaches, where kids hear that the time they're in midget league, next guy up, but last week, I mean, if you didn't have the next guy up, you lose that game.
Well, year 1, year 2, we didn't have the next guy up. I mean, that was the case. But now we got some young kids that, I felt all along that, Devontae Allen was going to be a good player. He's just been a little slower